Can you tell when someone is manipulating public opinion, your opinion? If you're tired of right-left politics, join us at Red Zone Politics and get wise to the game of political perception. Welcome to Red Zone Politics, where we make uncommon sense of American politics, sports, and culture. RZP is a forum for real political independents, sports fans, and culture vultures. We like our politics smart, our sports full of heart, and our culture diverse, enlightening, and yep, sometimes ridiculous and tacky. I'm your host, A.F. Cook, author of Democrats in the Red Zone, an independent voter's take on the game of political perception. In the book, which I published prior to the 2008 election, I compare perception to a football, and as all fans know, who controls the ball controls the game. I specifically advise my former home team, the Democratic Party, to learn how to speak to guy voters, like my fellow football fans, more effectively. At Red Zone Politics, we offer 3 things to consider when evaluating your own ability to think like a real independent, RZP style. A, will you call out members of your own team when you think they're wrong? B, are you open to new information? And C, are you aware of your own biases and the degree to which they may prevent you from changing your mind about something? Right after this break, we'll be talking about sports news, from NBA action to the reemergence of a Spanish star on the French court. Then we'll slap around a subject that generally makes women prick up their ears while men cringe or flee. Or is it the other way around? I'm talking relationships. Tighten your seatbelts, because we have no idea where we're going to end up on this one. And our roadmap is all over the place. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Reed Sorensen. Racing has been a part of me and my family for as long as I can remember. I had to make tough choices early on to get to the top. It took hard work and dedication. But it's those tough choices that help me prepare for challenges I would face as a cup driver. Make the right choices today and be ready for the challenges tomorrow. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Welcome back to Red Zone Politics, where we make uncommon sense of American culture. I'm your host, A.F. Cook. Today, we're tackling an unlikely combination of topics, or so it may seem. First, we'll cover sports news. Then, our bipartisan panel, by which I mean we have 2 men and 2 women, will engage in a talking match about relationships. Patrick Fitzpatrick has been a professional basketball player for 8 years in Europe. He also coaches basketball. He's played with teams in Ireland's Super League, that nation's premier division. He's also provided individual training to WNBA, Big East, and ACC conference athletes. Dr. Nicole Cutts is a licensed clinical psychologist, success coach, author, and organizational consultant whose mission is to help people to achieve a more balanced and successful lifestyle, specifically related to their careers. She has consulted with and trained executives, managers, and teams at Fortune 500 companies, federal government agencies, and nonprofit organizations. She has appeared on BET's The Center, the BBC, and Roland S. Martin's Urban Business Roundtable. Don Sloan can best be described by the tagline of his management consulting firm, integrating the human element and the bottom line. He has been part of management teams at Fannie Mae and Capital One. He has conducted leadership training with more than 4,500 business people and coached executives in both the public and private sectors. Don currently helps individuals, families, and family-owned businesses achieve greater fulfillment in life and work. And last but not least, Kelly Mannion. Kelly has been working with the Washington Humane Society for the past 3 years, participating in weekly pet adoption events. She represents the society as a regular featured guest on WUSA Channel 9's Pet Line and on Fox 5's Pet Project. She recently became a nutritional consultant and health coach through the Institute for Integrative Nutrition in New York. First of all, my understanding is that no one on this panel except me last night saw the phantom goal that allowed the Chicago Blackhawks to win their first Stanley Cup championship, at least in 49 years, last night. And it was very exciting. It was overtime. So we won't talk about it. All I can say is congratulations, Blackhawks, and I hope Obama's happy. Talking Celtics-Lakers NBA championship going on right now. What are your thoughts on how that's going?
Well, it's very exciting right now. They've got Game 4 tonight, played in Boston, and this will be the second of the 3 games that they play in Boston. And home team advantage, home court advantage plays a big part in this series, like it usually does.
Except it didn't work for the Lakers in Game 2, and it didn't work for the Celtics in Game 3. So what's with that?
Exactly. You know, that's changed a little bit, but I think it still plays a factor. Guys are used to their home locker room. They're used to their home court. They're used to driving to the game from their house, seeing their families in the afternoon. It's a rhythm game, and those guys get into that rhythm, so it plays a factor.
Do you think coming out of a road game where you won in the other guy's house can make you a little complacent? Because I noticed, you know, of course, the Celtics beat the Lakers in their house, Game 2, and then came back and just, you know, just couldn't quite pull it together for Game 3. And I've also noticed that the Lakers seem to be a third quarter team, and the Celtics seem to be a fourth quarter team. Is that off base?
No, I think it's accurate. I think right now the leader, the strongest leader on both teams is Kobe Bryant. He's got the experience as far as winning world championships, and everybody always talks about his desire to win. But there's guys on the Celtics that can get very hot. There's some very talented players like Ray Allen, hit 8 3-pointers, was up there. You know, I'm not sure if it was a record, but it was. I think he went 8 for 13. Yeah, in Game 2, he had a bunch of 3-pointers, and he just got hot. And that can happen with other players too. And it's, you know, that's the wild thing about the NBA. They play 100 games, and then it comes down to 2 or 3 games at the end of who gets to be the champion.
Absolutely. Well, you know, I don't really watch a lot of professional basketball because I am absolutely devoted to football, specifically my Patriots, but the game of football generally, as you know. But an occasional college championship will get me excited, and I just don't think anybody can really not pay attention to Celtics-Lakers. I mean, that's just the storied rivalry. And do you have a favorite?
Yeah, I'm pulling for the Celtics.
Yeah, are you from Boston?
No, I'm not from Boston.
You just like the Celtics, why?
Yeah, Larry Bird is one of the all-time great players.
Okay.
And I grew up as a little kid watching them play in the 80s with Magic Johnson versus Larry Bird. I mean, everybody knows about that rivalry. And that the series is bringing back all those old fans. You know, there's a great tradition there. But then on the other hand, all these young guys are looking up to Kobe Bryant and all these flashy new stars. So that's what makes it really neat.
Excellent. Well, you know, let's get to the D.C. region, because while we're focusing on Boston and L.A., right here in D.C. we have a brand new pitcher in the house, and he won his first game by striking out 14 hitters. That's Steven Strasburg, who I believe the Nationals took in the draft as kind of at the top there in the 5-2 win over the Pittsburgh Pirates. Did anybody else see that game or get excited about a new pitcher, or have we just gotten used to not really caring what the Nationals are doing? Okay, that answers the question.
No, I've actually been to Nationals Park. We've done events with them through the Washington Humane Society, and I've got to meet a lot of the team, and they're all really good guys.
Great.
And the management there really cares. So, I mean, I would like them to win. They are a home team. You know, it's kind of disappointing to see them continue losing all the time. So I'm excited for them.
Excellent. Well, I would say, you know, as happened to us in New England with Tom Brady, one player coming in with the skill and the charisma to make it happen can really pull a whole team together and really change things. So we'll see what happens. But I think it was a really auspicious beginning for the Nationals with this new pitcher. And speaking of baseball umpire Jim Joyce recently blew a call at first base. Detroit Tigers pitcher Armando Galarraga's potential perfect game. It would have been the 21st perfect game in the history of the league, but so it's not like it would have been the only perfect game ever. But nonetheless, there's no instant replay in baseball, so you can't go back and fix it. It stands once the umpire calls it. But the interesting thing about how this unfolded was, of course, at first there was a lot of frustration by the fans and everybody, and of course by the Detroit Tigers manager, but everybody handled it graciously. The pitcher and the umpire were very apologetic about it. You know, what does this say about sort of, A, whether there should be, in fact, instant replay in baseball, but, you know, to see people behave that way in a sports arena with that level of grace, I don't know what you think, Don. That was kind of unusual, isn't it?
Well, it certainly kind of refutes the image of men and going toe-to-toe and fighting over anything and everything at any opportunity. And I think what this demonstrates is that strong, professional, virile athletes can be empathetic. And it kind of dispels the belief that those two things are mutually exclusive.
Any tennis fans in the house? And even if you're not a tennis fan per se, any Rafael Nadal fans? Yay!
Okay.
Well, let's get to the Williams sisters first. They did not make it to the big show this year, but at the French Open, but they did prevail as doubles champions again. And the French Open survived Venus's sexy black je ne sais quoi that she was wearing, which means I don't know what in French. Je ne sais quoi. And that's what it is. And flesh-colored underwear outfit that caused some fits in some puritanical sectors of the sports world. Any comments on that outfit, Nicole?
Well, yes, I have a comment about being called a Puritan. I think that Venus has a lot of great style. I love the Williams sisters. I don't think it was appropriate to have people perceive that they were seeing your naked hiney on television. I think the shorts, the outfit was great. It was sexy. It was over the top for tennis. It was black and red, but the underwear part could have been black.
So it was basically like a fashion malfunction.
No, it was not a fashion malfunction. She did it purposely, but I really think that that's too much for tennis. You shouldn't be showing what looks like your naked
Somebody should have told
hiney.
her that black was the appropriate.
See, I want to cut her some slack. I mean, maybe it was. Maybe it was intentional, but I mean, she is human. She could have just not done laundry for a week or 2 weeks. That's all she had left. Is she supposed to not wear any underwear?
I think it was part of the outfit. I think it was sewn into the outfit.
Oh,
Yeah,
I think that was the problem.
They were like shorts, like boys' shorts, but they were flesh colored. So
All
when
right, that
she
changes
was
everything.
bent over, it
We
looked
don't-
as if you were seeing her naked behind.
We don't know
Maybe
who
she was
was
doing a test.
Yeah, we don't know who was giving Venus fashion tips. I personally think the allusion to sort of French 17th century court with a little lace top was totally perfect.
Loved
you know,
it.
and the black lace skirt was great. But let's talk about Rafael Nadal, who's like my favorite, and his knees are reconstructed apparently, or healed rather. So Rafael Nadal is now #1 again in the world because he put Soderling to bed in 3 sets in the French Open final, and Roger Federer had to bow out early after a loss in his match. So we're looking possibly at Nadal-Federer again at Wimbledon. Any thoughts about that, Patrick? Have you been following tennis?
Only the part about Nadal making this comeback, I think, is testament to sports medicine and how far that's come. You know, and relating that back to the Celtic series, there's veterans on both teams that are playing in their 30s, and they've both had broken bones, pulled muscles, you know, and just they've been challenged every way physically. And it's amazing, you know, just how far that's come and the way these players are able to bounce back and get more years and years out of their career.
Big test for Nadal, of course, is going to be on the hard courts in the U.S. because, you know, he slides around those clay courts like nobody's business, but you try to do that on hard courts, your knees are gone. And as far as I know, he hasn't won a U.S. Open yet. I don't even think he's made it to the final. I could be wrong about that. I'd have to go back and do my research. After this break, though, we'll be back to talk about another sport or game pertinent to pretty much everybody, every human being, and that's relationships, specifically between men and women. Supposedly part of one species, but with often very different ways of thinking, feeling, and being. How many arguably unnecessary headaches does this cause the human race? Our panel will have more than enough to say about that. We'll be right back.